Audience score gave it an 82. Now these are the scores at the time of this recording. I'm sure they have gone up, because they can't have gone down. And if they did, I will be shocked. Okay, so what is Beetlejuice about? Well, it is the sequel to the original Beetlejuice, and I absolutely love the original Beetlejuice. I remember when I was like, my daughter's old enough, she can watch it. I remember when me and my daughter watched it, and she loved it, and I was like, yes, yes. So Beetlejuice is back, obviously. The Dietz family return to their old family home in whatever town that was, because, what's her name, Lydia? Yeah, Lydia Dietz, her father has died from some bird watching accident or something he was watching. I don't know, it doesn't matter, he's dead, who cares? I say who cares because he's not in the movie for very specific reasons. But that's why they come back to their house. And now Lydia's all grown up and she has a daughter. She was married, but her husband, I don't know what he was doing. He went on some work trip or something. I don't remember, but he died as well. But Lydia, ever since the first Beetlejuice, she is able to see dead people, and she's able to communicate with them and stuff like that. So she uses that and turns it into a career opportunity. She's got her own, like, creepy show, on TV and stuff. But anyway, so her dad dies and she has to leave the show and, go to the funeral and all that. And her daughter, I don't know the daughter's name, she meets this guy, and she somehow, I don't want to give everything away, but she somehow gets tricked into going into the afterlife. And it's like, how? Because, like, people who are alive aren't allowed to go into the afterlife. Well, she was tricked, okay? And so the only way to get her back is for Lydia to make a deal with Beetlejuice. So it's Beetlejuice to the rescue. And he's like, I'll do it, but... And she's like, you want me to marry you? And he's like, oh, yes. He has been in love with her ever since, like, 30 years ago, or however many years it's been. I don't know, I'm in love with Beetlejuice. I'm one of those weirdos that loves him. I don't know, like, Michael Keaton is so great. He's so great. Anyway, so, I don't want to get too much into it, but this movie is great, okay? It's fun. It's very fun. It's a fun movie, okay? There are some plot holes in it, but if you're a fan of Beetlejuice, you don't care. You do not care. It's like, I don't care. I just want more Beetlejuice, okay? So, it's not as good as the first one, but it's fun. It's more fun than the first one, I think. It almost felt like I was on a roller coaster ride, okay? Like, it was just so exciting. And there is one character in the movie that just like, okay, let me watch the trailer for the show, you know. Let me tell you what it is first. Okay, so it's a show. It has 2 seasons. It is complete. After the 2nd season, it was done. I don't think it got canceled. I think it was just the story was done. It is called Kevin Can F Himself. You can watch it on AMC Plus or Prime, and you can also watch it on Netflix. I'm sure you can watch it on other things as well, but Rotten Tomato score gave it a 91%. Audience score gave it a 58. That's quite a huge difference. So I don't get that. I agree with the 91%. Like, it was really, really good. It stars Annie Murphy, and I love her because she's from Schitt's Creek. She's completely different than her character from Schitt's Creek, and also Eric Patterson and a bunch of other people. So I watched the trailer because it kept being shoved in my face, you know, and I'm like, what is this? So the first trailer I watched, I immediately was like, no, because it looked like it was like this 30-minute like CBS comedy show or something, and I was just like sitcom, you know, and I was just like, ugh, I'm not in the mood for a sitcom, you know. So I was like, no. And then like a month later it was like, watch this, you know, and I was like, what was the trailer? Like, maybe it's a really good funny show. I don't know. So I watched the trailer again, and at first it was the little sitcom looking thing, but then like it goes to a different scene and it's not a sitcom. It almost turned into a drama with different lighting and camera angles and stuff, and I was like, what? I was so confused. So I was like, let me just watch one episode. If it sucks, it's only one episode, you know? So I'm so glad I watched it. I'm so glad I watched that first episode because it was like, what the hell is this? I have never seen anything like this ever. Okay, so the trailer was accurate. It starts out as a traditional sitcom. Like, it kind of reminded me of The King of Queens or something like that, you know, where it's like the husband's all goofy and stupid and the wife is like is that how it is? You know, like it was really really cool. But the show is called Kevin Can F Himself because she finally wakes up from her fantasy when she's with him, and she's like, he's kind of crap. Now you never see Kevin in like the dark drama part of the show, because if he's around, it's the stupid comedy thing. But you look at it in a completely different viewpoint because you know how she sees it. I don't know, it's very strange at first, but then you get really used to it, and it just it just blew my mind. It was so good. But so she wakes up and she decides Kevin can F himself because he does stupid things all the time, and it's not just some sitcom comedy. This is real life, and he's kind of a jerk. No, not kind of. He is 100% a jerk, and he's a crappy husband, and just, you know, so she decides she's gonna do something about it. She thinks, well, maybe I'll leave him. No, I can't leave him. And she ultimately decides, I'm going to kill him. But this is Annie Murphy. Like, what? So it's 2 whole seasons about her journey to possibly kill Kevin, you know, and will she do it? Will she not? She constantly has issues coming up that causes him not to die, you know, and then she wrestles with it internally and stuff, but like, I'm not giving anything away. This is like in the first episode, you know, but the whole 2 seasons are about that, and about her waking up and just being like, what the hell, you know. It's definitely different, but it was amazing, and I'm so glad I watched it. I'm so glad I watched it. It was fantastic. Okay, the next thing that I watched was a show on Netflix. It is called The Perfect Couple. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 59. Audience score gave it a 59. I don't know why it got such low reviews. Anyway, okay, so it stars Nicole Kidman, Dakota Fanning, like tons and tons of people. Like so many people. I actually really liked the show, and I watched it twice so that I could watch it with my husband, and he really liked the show. So what is this about? Okay, so obviously it's about the perfect couple, right? So since it's called The Perfect Couple, you know they're not the perfect couple. But it is. Maybe people don't like it because it's about mega rich people with rich people problems, and I don't know, there is some major things that go on in this show, but it's rich people, you know. So the perfect couple is Nicole Kidman and I can't think of the other guy's name, but whatever. So it's between her and her husband, and she's a writer, and she has written like 23 books based off of, I don't want to say it's based off of her and her husband, but her husband was the inspiration for the books. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, your husband is this guy. And so they have a picture painted of them as the perfect it's like the night before they get married, and oh god, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I hate that. Hopefully I don't. No, I think I'm going to. Okay, sorry. So, it's her middle son. He's about to get married, so it's like rehearsal dinner type thing, I guess, but they're doing it in their vacation property or something. And there's so many people there, and there's just a big party, and blah blah blah. And let's see. Okay. So something happens that night with one of the guests or people who are in, someone that's in the wedding party. The next morning, the bride wakes up and puts her dress on, because she wants to see what she's gonna look like. And she looks out the window and she sees something on the beach, and she's like, what is that? And then she sees, oh my gosh, that's a body. She goes running out, and yes, someone is dead. How did they die? Was it an accidental drowning? Were they murdered? You don't know, and you won't find out until pretty much the end. But it's just, the whole show is them trying to find out what happened to this person, and it like does flashbacks and stuff of like different characters in the family and stuff like that. So you find out a lot about this specific family, and they are not the perfect family. They are not the perfect couple. And it's interesting. Every single one of them looks very suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. But, so the whole time you're like, who the hell did this? And did they do it? You know what I mean? Like, and then it's not until the very end, like the very last 10 minutes, that you find out what really happened. And you will never see it coming. I never saw it coming. And so I wanted to see if my husband would guess it or, have any type of clue. No, he was completely shocked. He was like, oh my god. So, and it's only 6 episodes. It's a limited series. It's only 6 episodes, but it's really, really good. So I don't know why it got bad reviews. I don't know. We really, really liked it. So, okay. The next thing that I watched is a show on FX. I feel like I've got an eyelash. It's a show on FX, but I watched it on Hulu. It's called English Teacher. It stars Brian Jordan Alvarez, Stephanie Koenig, and some other guy, but I couldn't find his name on anything really. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 97. Audience score gave it an 81. So, pretty good. Now, this is a 30-minute so good. I usually like to only talk to you about things that I have completed watching, but this is a show, so like I don't know if it's gonna go the whole year, or like it's on FX, if it's gonna get like 12 or 10 episodes. I don't know. But I would watch it at least once, because it's great. Okay, so the next thing that I watched is the weird thing that I was talking about. It is a movie, and I watched it on Hulu. This is called Kinds of Kindness. Kinds of Kindness. It stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Willem Dafoe. Now, I remember seeing the trailer a lot over the summer, and I was like, what is this movie? Because it didn't really show anything, but I do remember this one dance scene that Emma Stone does in the trailer, and I'm like, why is she dancing like that? Like, what is this? But if you watch the trailer, it's like you get no information. But I heard that it was good, so I watched it. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 72. Audience score gave it a 48. That's a big difference. And I don't know what to rate it. And I don't know if I recommend it or not. Like, I watched the whole thing. But even at the end, I was like, what did I just watch? What just happened? What just happened? It was so strange. It was the weirdest movie I've ever seen. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But I'm not like, wow, this is my favorite movie. It was just strange and weird. So it's sold as one movie, but it really isn't one movie. It's like 3 movies pushed together, okay? And it kind of reminds me of like the Twilight Zone or something, but anthology type, because all the actors in it act in all 3 of the sections of the movie, but they play different characters and stuff. So it's like 3 separate movies that are like 45 minutes long or something, okay? And they all play different characters in each mini movie. So the first mini movie, there's this man, Jesse Plemons, and he works for Willem Dafoe, but he cannot make any decisions on his own. I'm talking no decisions on his own. His boss, Willem Dafoe, makes every single decision. Dog haters outside. Yikes. Willem Dafoe makes every single decision in his life. What time he's going to wake up? Is he going to turn left on this street? Is he going to kiss his wife before work? Are they going to sleep together? And if they do, it must be at 8:45. Like, every single thing. Today you are going to have this lunch at this time, but you're only going to eat half of the sandwich and you're going to throw the rest out. And like, what? So Willem Dafoe wants him to do something, and for the first time in this guy's life, he's like, I can't do that. And Willem Dafoe's all like, yeah, you're gonna do it. And he says no. And because he said no, that's it. He no longer works for Willem Dafoe. He's on his own. He has to make his own decisions. choice. Now he has to make all the choices, and he feels like his life is complete hell now. And he is in this terrible, torturous world. It's so strange. Okay, I'm not gonna give any more detail about that one. The second weird little movie, it's Jesse Plemons, and in this movie, he is married to Emma Stone. But Emma Stone goes missing, and he is completely depressed. He is depressed so bad because he misses his wife. And he's a police officer in this film. But he misses her so much that he can only talk about her like 24 hours a day. And he arrested some criminal. And the criminal had a feature that reminded him of his wife. And he's just there like petting the criminal's face. And it's like, what is happening? Well, one day, his wife shows up. She like crashed in a plane or something like that. I don't know. And she was rescued. They found her. She comes back home, and he's like, "This is not my wife. I don't know who this person is, but this is not my wife." And she is acting very strange. So you're questioning, like, is this his wife? Like, what's happening here? And it just gets more and more strange and very graphic and creepy. Okay, the last of the three little weird movies, Emma Stone is in like this cult with Jesse Plemons. They are not together, but they are traveling around. It's almost like they're traveling salesmen, but they're not salesmen. They're in this strange cult, and the leader of the cult is Willem Dafoe. And they are looking for a very specific girl who has very specific powers, because Willem Dafoe, I guess, prophesized it or something. I don't know. I don't like Willem Dafoe in this at all because he's so gross and creepy, and like, it's a cult, and he makes everyone in the cult sleep with him. Ugh. Gross. But so they're looking for this girl, was just like, what? What? So I don't know if I recommend it. It was interesting and different and weird and Twilight Zone-y. So, okay, the next thing that I watched is a movie on Paramount Plus, and it is called A Quiet Place Day One. Oh, it stars, I'm gonna try and say this, Lupito Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn. That's Eddie from Stranger Things. Rotten Tomato score gave it an 86. Audience score gave it a 73. I don't think that's a very good score. But again, these scores are as of this recording, so they could have changed. So, please tell me you've seen A Quiet Place. Or A Quiet Place 2. Like, it's so good. It's so good, and it's one of those, I don't want to say it's a scary movie, but it is a, like, intense, maybe thriller, when you're actually scared, like, like, you try not to make any sound, okay? So, A Quiet Place is about an alien invasion, okay? And the aliens, they can't see, but they can hear, and they don't like noise. And if they hear noise, they're going to kill you, okay? So it's basically like everyone dies. Everyone dies because no one can be quiet. No one can be quiet. This one, I do not believe was written or directed by John Krasinski. I think it's just, it's in the franchise, but it's not done by John Krasinski. It's still good. I wouldn't say it's as good as the first or the second one, but it's still good. So it's day one, obviously, since the movie's called Day One, of the alien invasion in New York. You know what you're gonna get with this movie. If you've seen the first two, you know what you're getting into, but it's still great. It's still intense. It's still like, shut up. But this girl, the main chick in the movie, she has cancer, and I think she's like in a cancer hospital or something, and they take her out on like a day trip to go to the theater in New York City, and she's like, okay, I'll go as long as I can get this very specific pizza, okay? And they're like, yes, we will get the pizza after the show. So after the show, they're all getting on the bus because something has happened. They don't know what has happened, but the hospital called the like leader of this group or whatever. They're like, okay, something's happened. You need to get everybody back to the facility. And she's like, what about the pizza? And he's like, we'll do it next time. And she's like, ugh, because there might not be a next time, because she's got pretty intense cancer. So she's all mad, and then all of a sudden stuff starts going down. Aliens. So it ends up just being her. Like, everyone dies, and they're like evacuating to these boats or something, because these alien creatures cannot cross water. So they're like, let's get to the ships. If you can get to the ship, good. But if you don't get to the ship in time, you're dead, So she's like, I'm not going to the ship. I want to get pizza. And you're like, what the hell, chick? Pizza? Like, what? Anyway, and so everybody's going this way, and she's the only one going that way. So she's traveling around, and then this guy, like, movies set like in New York or, you know, upstate, whatever. Uh, but as soon as it was over, I was like, they can make a bazillion of these movies because they can do it anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world they can do it, and it can be a completely different movie, but it'll still be good. You know what I mean? So I think A Quiet Place is going to be one of those new franchise type movies, and I'm for it. I like it. I like it a lot. So, um, but one thing about this is like, there's like almost no talking because you have to be quiet, you know? And I think that the two main actors in this did such a good job, and I'm just like, those are the type of people, the people who are in A Quiet Place, or people who do this thing where they can only act using their facial expressions. I think they should get like Oscars or whatever the award is, you know what I mean? Like, they deserve it the most because they're literally just using their face. They're not using their tone or their body movements or feeding off other actors or something. It's just their face. And it's like, they deserve every award